And with that, we now come to the third installment of the Jurassic Park franchise. I watched Jurassic Park 3, which is directed by Joe Johnston this time, and is the third installment in the Jurassic Park franchise, is the third installment in the Jurassic Park original trilogy, and the final film in the Jurassic Park original trilogy, and is the sequel to the Lost World Jurassic Park. It is also the first film in the franchise to not be directed by Steven Spielberg, who instead serves as the executive producer, as well as the first to not be based on a novel by Michael Crichton. Now, this movie released in 2001. While this film was successful, because of course it's a Jurassic Park movie, it was also the lowest grossing movie in the franchise, and the reception this movie got, in addition to this being one of the lowest in the franchise, Jurassic Park films were on a very long break. So much so that the next installment, Jurassic World, didn't release until 2015. That means there was a 14-year gap between this film and the next one. And I kind of understand why. I haven't seen the last two films yet. At least as of this recording, I haven't seen it. I will get to that after I watch, the Jurassic World. And this is also the film that I kind of like the least. When I watched it as a child, for the first time, I watched it whenever it came on TV. At that point, I kind of enjoyed it. To me, at that time, it was like, oh, look at the dinosaurs again. I'm watching the T-Rex fight another dinosaur. I felt sad when the T-Rex lost so easily to that thing. And after rewatching it as an adult, I am even more sad that I had to watch that scene over again. Because no, the T-Rex doesn't lose to that thing. Come on. This is also a movie that has no antagonist. It's kind of a very underwhelming feat. The best part of this movie is the runtime. It's incredibly short. And it never felt like there's a story here. Like, it felt more like a series of events rather than a story, because it goes from one dinosaur scene to the next. It jumps from scene to scene like that without any kind of storytelling. It's very minimal. It's very simple. Like, once they get to the island, there doesn't seem to be much of a story. And this is also the first time where the dinosaurs felt more like monsters rather than animals. The first two movies, even the second one, I would still admit is a very fun movie, despite the flaws that that movie has. It's still a very fun movie, but they managed to keep the dinosaurs as animals. They behave like animals. The carnivores behave like carnivores, and the herbivores behave like herbivores, and they do what normal animals would do, but as dinosaurs. This movie never felt like that. This movie just felt like monster movie, like straight up monster movie. They never felt like animals, which I felt like one of the more important things of the first two films. Even the dinosaurs never felt as real or as realistic looking as the first two movies. I hated the Spinosaurus. I did not like that thing. One of the major reasons was that he destroyed the T-Rex, which I know. Leave that fucking T-Rex alone. But aside from that, there were so many inconsistencies within the film. Like, there are so many holes in the story. Like, the Spinosaurus just rams through a metal barricade, but is somehow stopped by a locked door. Like, what? There are so many scenes like that, and there were certain things which felt like cartoonish. Like, there's a scene where the raptor has his head in a chamber, and he uses that to scare T. Leone. The characters never felt as invested. The performances are very underwhelming. William H. Macy and T. Leone, I felt like they could have been the villains. If you watch the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, having told the movie from their perspective would be something more interesting than what was given to us, but they made them too lighthearted to make that happen. And Sam Neill, I felt like he wasn't at all interested in doing this movie. That's what it felt like. And the most infamous scene is the dream raptor saying the word Alan. I hate that. The most cartoonish moment in Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm's daughter doing gymnastics to kill a raptor in the second movie would come a close second to this one. Although I did like that the Spinosaurus is actually a real dinosaur, was actually a dinosaur that existed, at some point in time, and after this, it's just genetically engineered dinos, in the Jurassic World thing. So I kind of like that they kind of used something that resembles a T-Rex or something that resembles an actual dinosaur. But yeah, there are so many things in this movie that just felt like, and the movie also at times, while it wasn't as boring, it was very underwhelming. The only thing good about it was the kid. I like that the kid in this movie is so resourceful that he managed to survive for like 8 weeks or so in the island filled with dinosaurs. And the worst character in the movie to me, in terms of both execution and performance, will be Tay Leone. She has this very robotic feel to it. I don't know why is it her and her inability to act, or was it the direction of Joe Johnston? I don't know what went wrong, but like, you look at some of the scenes where she just looks like she's a robot that doesn't know what emotion is. That's what it feels like. Laura Dern and Sam Neill's characters, they are broken up in this movie, which kind of lessens the impact that the first movie gave us. The first movie gave us kind of like this hopeful thing. Oh yeah, there was growth in the characters and it felt more developed. I felt like they were going to be much happier, but no, they split up. And Laura Dern is so insignificant in this movie that all she does is pick up a phone. Like, she never even goes to the island with him. I just want to end this. So, in conclusion, Jurassic Park 3 is a forgettable and disappointing entry in the franchise. Its lack of compelling characters, weak plot, and unconvincing special effects, or, the dinosaurs, make it a chore to sit through. Fans of the franchise would have been better off revisiting the original film or the second film, leaving this lackluster sequel in the past. Yeah, so I highly recommend watching it once. It's more of a one-time watch. I wouldn't say this is like an incredibly bad film. I say like it's enjoyable enough for a one-time watch. Just know that it is the weakest film in the franchise. I would much prefer Jurassic World to this because I saw that movie. I cannot say for Fallen Kingdom or Dominion, but of the 4 that I have already seen, I say this is the weakest one in the franchise. If I was given a choice, I would much rather you watch the first 2 movies and skip this movie altogether. Even the future films don't consider this to be a part of the continuation. The first 2 films are much more memorable, much more fun, so I highly recommend you watch those. But if you want to binge watch through the whole franchise like me, then I say yeah. If you haven't watched it before, then it's a one-time watch. If you've already seen it, then just don't bother. All the alcohol is in my liver. I guess I lost and you're the winner. Missing your touch, you were a good kisser. I was born a saint, but now I'm a sinner.